Good evening and welcome to NewsBreak Live. I'm Hiba Sama. Thanks for joining us. Statewide primary elections are underway, and if you haven't voted yet, you have 3 more hours before the polls close at 8 p.m. According to city officials, as of May 2018, in Torrance alone, there were more than 82,000 registered voters. In the 2016 presidential primary, there were 78,982 voters registered, but only 37,000 who cast their ballots. Today, reporter Jessie Pierre headed out to a few of the polling locations, and she spoke to voters who shared why it was important to make their voices heard.
I vote every election. First and foremost, it's every citizen's obligation and duty to vote religiously. You have to be consistent about it.
But I thought this year was a very important year, especially for California residents, and just to be participatory in the system and really try and be active and involved.
Yes, your voice does matter, and that the more of us that come out, the people that we really want to stand for the issues that we support, it's important for us to do that.
To stay up to date on tonight's election results, keep it here on City Cable, and more details on voter registration, head to lavote.net. Mail-in ballots must be postmarked by Election Day and will be counted at county election offices by Friday. Voters had the chance to make big decisions on the local level, but also voted to decide the final candidates for this November's ballot. 27 candidates are vying for the top 2 seats in the November election to decide the next governor of California. There were also 32 candidates in the race for the United States Senate. The top 2 candidates also advanced to the November 6th general election. For the California State Assembly District 66 race, former Torrance Mayor Frank Scotto will run against Caney Arnold and current Assemblyman Al Muratsuchi. Then the 43rd Congressional District features incumbent Maxine Waters, who is up against 4 candidates on the ballot. Now, here in Torrance, incumbent Mayor Patrick Fury is running for a second and final 4-year term. In the race is former Councilman Tom Brewer, who has served 2 terms as a council member, and small business owner Ron Riggs. There are 3 open seats on the Torrance City Council, with 2 incumbents in the running, Councilman Tim Goodrich and Councilman Kurt Wiedemann, who are hoping to serve again. Other candidates include Jimmy Gao, former Councilman Bill Sutherland, George Chen, and Aurelia Mutucci. And finally, the City Clerk Rebecca Poirier and City Treasurer Dana Cortez are both running unopposed. Stay informed and find more information on each of the candidates at votersedge.org. And at 11 p.m. tonight, City Cable will broadcast a special edition of NewsBreak Live, bringing you all the latest results of tonight's elections. Also on the ballot, there are 5 state measures Torrance residents will vote for or against. Topics range from authorizing $4 billion in general bonds for parks, natural resources protection, climate adaptation, water quality, and supply. Then Proposition 69 amends the state constitution so that money from diesel sales taxes and the new transportation fees could be spent only on transportation purposes. This prop comes from Senate Bill 1 that was passed in 2017 to increase funding for transportation in California. 3 other propositions on the ballot for Torrance residents includes Prop 70 on cap and trade amendment, Prop 71 ballot measure effective date, and Prop 72, if passed, property owners and developers would be able to install rainwater capture systems without their property taxes going up. Authorities are investigating what sparked a bedroom fire this afternoon. Crews were called to a home in the 1000 block of Acacia Avenue near Sierra Street right around 12 o'clock to find flames in one of the bedrooms.
Upon arrival, our units found a 1-story single-family home with fire in a back bedroom. We upgraded it to a second alarm. For a total of over 20 firefighters on scene. We were able to do a primary search, aggressive fire attack to knock down the fire, and confirm that all residents were out and were safe.
Nearby streets were blocked for a few hours. Fortunately, no one was injured. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. The Torrance Police Department continues to assist with mental illness in the community. Torrance Police released information today that after recognizing a need in the community, they introduced the Torrance Mental Evaluation Team, the first of its kind in the South Bay, in 2015. TMET is a field-based collaborative team that has partnered with the Department of Mental Health to provide referrals, intervention, and placement into mental health facilities for individuals needing acute mental health interventions. The mission is to decrease the potential for violence during police contacts involving people suffering from mental illness. The team consists of 2 highly trained police officers, a sergeant, and a full-time Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health clinician. May was Mental Health Awareness Month. There are some overnight road closures you'll want to be aware of. Northbound Hawthorne Boulevard will be closed from 242nd Street to Pacific Coast Highway at 9 p.m. tonight. It will be closed until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Traffic will be detoured to Rolling Hills Road, Crenshaw Boulevard, and Pacific Coast Highway. One lane is now open after the southbound lane of Madrona Avenue between Sepulveda Boulevard and Plaza del Amo was closed for the majority of the day. This was due to street repairs. Now, a big festival of the arts is returning again this month, and the best part, you can register for free tickets now. The Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation is presenting the 2nd annual South Bay Festival of the Arts on June 23rd from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Torrance Cultural Arts Center. There will be free entertainment, art exhibitions, crafts, and demonstrations. So far, some performances include Andy and Renee, El Haru Kroy, Jason Ferg, and various ensembles. There are many participating eateries, wineries, and breweries. If you're interested in having a booth, you can go to torrancearts.org. Now, if you're hungry and are a South Bay teacher, you won't want to miss out on some free food. Red Robin Restaurant is giving free burgers today. The promotion is for free tavern double burgers and bottomless steak fries for teachers with a valid school ID. The varieties of the Tavern Double include Cowboy, Taco, Sriracha, Reds, or Smoky Jack. You must dine in the restaurant to receive the discount. The South Bay Red Robin is at the Galleria. A place to shop for your kids is opening up this week, bigger and better. Gymboree at the Amo Fashion Center will open this Thursday with an expansion and redesign. Officials say the renovated store strikes the perfect balance between beauty and function. It features authentic materials, easy-to-shop design, and playful moments of discovery. Gymboree prides itself with comfortable quality clothes for girls and boys up to size 12, and a place that they will want to visit again. A company headquartered in Torrance is partnering up with another platform. DocMagic Inc., the premier provider of fully compliant loan document preparation, regulatory compliance, and comprehensive e-mortgage services, is partnering with Mortgage Hippo, a fintech-driven digital lending platform. This allows Mortgage Hippo lender customers to provide borrowers with the ability to electronically sign documents at any stage of the mortgage process, from point of sale to closing. Lenders can order disclosures from their loan origination systems, most of which are already integrated with DocMagic. Mortgage Hippo then provides e-delivery of the disclosures to the consumer via Mortgage Hippo Borrower Portal for compliant e-signing using DocMagic's e-sign technology. You can tune into Common Sense to watch a full episode featuring DocMagic Inc. And it's time for the weather. It was cloudy with a high of 69 degrees and an expected low of 60. Then on Wednesday, there will be a high of 69 with a low of 59 degrees. Then on Thursday, you can expect it to stay steady with a high of 69 and once again, a low of 60 degrees. A new program is being launched to help restaurants prove they're managing their waste properly. The city's Community Development Department is relaunching the Clean Bay Certified program. that's been on hiatus. But this time around, it will have a self-certification option that allows restaurant owners to complete their own environmentally friendly inspection by checking off the items on the checklist, which is then followed by a program coordinator from the city who also visits the restaurant to ensure they're following the correct steps. The ultimate goal is for these businesses to receive a congratulatory letter and a clean by decal to display on their front window next to their health grade. The Santa Monica Bay Restoration Commission launched the Clean Bay Restaurant program in 2008. It recognizes restaurants that go above and beyond what is required by law to prevent ocean pollution. Now, if you're interested in becoming Clean Bay certified, you'll soon be able to download the checklist on torranceca.gov. Do you want to give back to your local community? Well, a leadership training program may be a great fit for you. The City of Torrance is accepting applications for the Youth Volunteer Leadership Training Program. It's held from June 25th through August 17th. For residents, it's $135 to sign up. As part of the program, job opportunities include working with children in a park, day camp, office work, youth sports, and helping out seniors. You can find the application at torranceca.gov/YVLTP. The deadline is this Thursday. Thousands came out for a one-of-a-kind biennial event that gave local residents an up-close look at what Torrance has to offer. Reporter Roxana Paul tells us more.
From babies to grandparents and everyone in between, everyone had an opportunity to enjoy a beautiful and memorable day at the City Yard's open house event.
Well, if you have boys, you know that they love trash trucks and street sweepers and anything that has a mechanical moving part.
There were nearly 40 outside vendors set up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. with nearly 2,500 people who came through the gates. The free event had demonstrations and displays of city vehicles and equipment. Even the city's cable channel, City Cable, and many of their on-air talents were there to meet and greet the community. This was also a chance to learn more about the city's public transportation system.
This is the air brake system of a transit bus, and we're here to show the residents what the transit does, what transit mechanics, transit maintenance do. And we have some displays. We have a couple of buses that we employ for city service. And so, yeah, we're here showing tax dollars at work.
And for those who were hungry, food trucks were there to calm their appetite. And this year's car show counted with an impressive collection of 39 classic vehicles from 1923 up to 2015.
I kind of like the employee car show personally, but yeah, the employee car show is great.
And from the looks of it, the ones we enjoyed the most might have been the little ones.
The police cat. I like seeing the police motorcycle.
From taking pictures with officials to riding the police bike to playing games. They did it all. What did you like or enjoy the most?
Well, probably the goats.
The goats? Why is that?
It's because when I was like a kid, I used to love animals. And here's an animal right here, the goat.
Residents will get to enjoy this event again in 2 years. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Roxana Paul.
Thanks, Roxana. At the open house, the city's Community Services Department launched its new campaign called Save the Straw and No More Sporks. And before the next half of NewsBreak Live, this Saturday is Vegan Day at Cosmic Brewery. From 2 p.m., you can enjoy some food until it's sold out. The options include avocado Mama Jade's vegan sushi and Plant Alchemy Chicana Vegana Feel Good Salsa. There will also be pet adoptions. Then the South Bay Escape Room is back at the Torrance Volunteer Center. From now through July 27th, you can explore the basement of their historic Torrance building, a former mortuary dating back to 1929. The ticket sales is a fundraiser for the center, and you can reserve a spot by going to volcenter.org. Then this Sunday, you can stop by Fabletics at the Amo Fashion Center for a free self-defense class. It starts at 9 a.m. with a private shopping party at 10 a.m. All participants will receive a special discount and free food. Well, in just 2 minutes, Luke Zamperini gives us all the details on the second movie that captures his father's life. Here's a look at the trailer, and we'll be back in just a few.
Bless you, Louis. Welcome home. All of Torrance was praying for your safe return.
Miracles didn't save me, Padre. A couple of atomic bombs did that.
You're Louis Zamperini, aren't you? Thank you.
For what?
For preserving the free world for silly girls like me.
People from all over the country want to know if you're going to run in the London Olympics.
So we were walking to school. At the corner, we waited for the traffic light.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom pat me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really
smart,
want cheese pizza,
but
like at Luigi's.
sometimes her mind
They have
wanders.
this video game there, and Kate's got the high score. We should have a sleepover. Maybe I should pack my pajamas.
I remember saying, Laura? Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
When we finally got there,
she gave me a hug goodbye.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Here you'll get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to the second half of NewsBreak Live. And joining me live is Luke Zamperini. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Heba.
Thank you for joining me. You'll be talking in just a few seconds about a new movie that captures your father's life. It's called Unbroken: Path to Redemption. And before we go into the movie and all the great details, here's a look at part of the trailer.
What's this?
If you're gonna train for London, you have to do it right. Just go nice and easy, see if you can make it all the way around.
You think you can run a 4.7 mile again? I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. I don't run to run. I run to win.
You will never escape me. Wherever you go, I will find you.
Are you sleeping well? You're having any night sweats or nightmares?
I just thought I'd be able to forget everything.
So, Mr. Zamperini, we just, viewers at home just got a look at part of the new movie. Tell us, this must be a very exciting time for your family, and you are the executive producer on the film. So tell me what this really captures about your father, Louis Zamperini's life.
Okay, so the first Unbroken covered his life story up until he came back from the war. And then that was it. If you read the book Unbroken, you know there were several more chapters that weren't told in the first movie. So Unbroken: Path to Redemption picks up at the point when he comes home from the war, goes through his post-traumatic stress disorder, his conversion in the Billy Graham tent, and his going back to Japan in 1950 to forgive his guards face to face.
How did the idea of producing a sequel come about, and how long has it been in the works?
Well, almost immediately when the first film aired, that there was lots of people were wondering what happened to the rest of the story. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough time on the first film to tell the whole story. And the idea that 10 or 15 minutes was not enough to explore the post-traumatic stress disorder that he had.
Mm.
Almost immediately, they began working on coming up with the sequel to tell the rest of the story.
And from watching the trailer, you can see different parts of Louis Zamperini's life. And here in Torrance, he truly is a legend. So how was it for you as his son being such a big part of the movie and producing it?
Well, it's just amazing. I mean, they only make a movie about your dad twice. For me, it's very exciting to be able to tell the rest of the story because it really is the climax of his life. You know, all that he went through, being the punk kid that makes it in sports, gets to the Olympics, becomes a bombardier, survives those 7 weeks at sea in a life raft, his 27 months in Japanese prison camp. All that leads up to the point where he comes home. He's got these horrendous nightmares that he's going through because as he was being beaten by his guards, he was internalizing all that need for revenge, and so it was manifesting itself in these horrific nightmares that are portrayed in the new film really quite well. And of course, then he finds release from that when he goes to the Billy Graham tent meeting in downtown Los Angeles in 1949, gives his life to Jesus Christ. His post-traumatic stress disorder is gone like that, and then he realized that he had forgiven his prison guards, including the bird Watanabe. And indeed, a year later, in 1950, he went back to Japan and sought out his former captors and forgave them face to face.
Wow, so there's a lot happening in just that one time for this movie. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who made this movie come to life, which will be released in October, correct? That's correct. And one to be mindful of is the producer, Matt Baer, who spent 17 years on this project. Wow. He first came across my father's story after the 1998 Nagano Olympics and worked very hard to get it to be in production. He was a producer on the first film, Unbroken, and then he's carried through to the second film as well. So 17 years is a long, I mean, that's, to some people, that's their entire career. So hats off to Matt. How do you make sure that parts of your father's life are captured properly? I'm sure it's a huge project to take on, but tell me about your role a little bit more. Well, I did get to meet with the screenwriter and the director very early on. And, of course, when you have a script, they can take some license because we don't really know what the conversations were between people, 75 years ago. So I read the script and realized that they were doing a really good job at telling the story very honestly. There is nothing that is made up. There's nothing fictitious about it. All the people that are portrayed are real people. And it's pretty much exactly what happened. Who stars in the movie, and are there any details you'd like the public to know so they definitely come out and watch this movie when it's released? You said October 5th? October 5th is the release date, and it stars Samuel Hunt as Louis Zamperini, and we had a wonderful time going through all of the audition tapes. I looked at like 35 auditions. My sister, who's also an executive producer on the film, she looked at the same audition tapes, and we decided independently of each other that Sam Hunt was our dad. And so he looks like him, and he even runs like him. You'll see some of the running sequences in this film. It's pretty remarkable. That is truly remarkable. And for people who are going to come out to watch this movie, and for the viewers watching the show, what do you hope people will truly walk away with after watching this movie? Because here in Torrance, your father truly is a legend and people know about him, but for people who may not have known about him, what would you like to say? Well, I think what people will walk away with from this film is just the power of faith and forgiveness. My dad used to say that it doesn't do any good for you to hate somebody because the object of your hate is not affected. Indeed, Watanabe was on the other side of the world. He had no idea my dad still hated him. But by hating somebody, it's like drinking poison. You're destroying yourself from within. So for him to be able to come to the point that he can forgive the bird was just, it's just a weight came off of his shoulders. It was cathartic for my father to forgive the man. Tell me what you hope this movie will do for his legacy. I'll tell you what.
the day that he died, I looked him in the eyes and said, Dad, you're going home to be with the Lord today, but your work here on earth is not done. And indeed, his story will be affecting people for generations to come. And so what I really hope people get from this film is that faith in God can be a very powerful thing. It can help you overcome insurmountable obstacles and odds. You know, for someone to forgive someone who treated him so poorly like the bird did, I mean, humanly, this is impossible. But my dad would say, with God, all things are possible. And he would also say that he had to love the bird with the same love that God had for him when he sent his son Jesus to die on the cross for his sins and my sins and everyone's sins. And I think that that's the main part of this, the main message for this film.
And Luke, can you talk to us a little bit more about, you know, certain scenes? You talked about the Olympics, and there's very specific scenes for people who do know Louis Zamperini's history. They'll know this movie is about him. Are there any other scenes that viewers will be able to recognize right off the bat?
Well, the film starts out with a collage of headlines, the Torrance Herald and other newspapers that tell the first part of his story in a matter of a few minutes, just going from headline to headline to headline, taking him from winning the interscholastic mile, going to the Olympics, being missing at sea, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, when he comes back. And so this film really focuses in on the effects of the post-traumatic stress disorder on his life, and how he was spiraling out of control. He was self-medicating with alcohol. He was getting in fights. I mean, at the drop of the hat, he would take a swing at somebody. And so it really portrays that life-changing moment when he came face to face with, essentially was remembering a prayer that he had on the life raft and in the prison camps, saying, God, if you get me home from this alive, I will seek you and serve you my entire life. And so, 4 years after the war, he forgot all about that promise. And then that moment in the Billy Graham tent in downtown Los Angeles, where it all came rushing back to him, he suddenly remembered that he made that promise. He said he felt really bad because obviously God took care of his part of the bargain. He brought Louis Zamperini home, but my dad, he forgot all about his promises until that very moment.
Well, Mr. Zamperini, thank you so much for coming on my show and talking about Unbroken: Path to Redemption. For viewers who are tuning in, we're going to have the full segment online, and we were talking about Unbroken: Path to Redemption, which will be released on October 5th, so you should all go out and watch it. Thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, that does it for NewsBreak Live. City Council has the night off. Don't forget, we have a special edition of NewsBreak Live Election Night with the latest returns and interviews with top candidates. This and much more starts right here at 11 p.m. You can also stream us live at torranceca.gov/cable as soon as the polls close at 8 p.m. And you can also go online to lavotes.net. If you ever have news or video that you'd like to share, please email us at newsbreak@torranceca.gov. Also, if you missed any portion of the show, you can catch it all on Torrance City Cable's YouTube page. Have a great night.